Hey guys, my name is Mightman. Welcome back to yet another video. Now today we've got a bit of a controversial kind of topic to discuss, and I want to kind of preference this as that this is my opinion. Other people might not feel the same, and honestly, if you have a different opinion or agree, please let me know. I am curious to see what other people's opinions are on this matter. Now, the topic I want to discuss is kinda in relation to the end game of Dead Frontier and why it feels so empty. So obviously with the title of this video, depending on how I want to preference it, it's mainly to say that how the end game is so empty and it's quite a disheartening thing to continue in that sense with the game itself. Now let's preference this in a series of goals in a sense, because that's the progression of Dead Frontier. It's goals you need to hit just to kind of make sure you can get to the quote unquote end game. But what a surprise that is when the end game consists of starting the game. But what I mean by that is the very second you make your account, the very second you get into that city for the first time, that's you already in the end game of Dead Frontier. And people won't agree with that, because people will see that as, I'm creating a new character, I'm going to just play the game, enjoy it. The end game is much further on, and the level cap is 415. And some I can agree with, obviously, I'm happy for you to feel that way, but for somebody who's been at the end game for quite a while now, there is quite a lot of stuff lacking in that sense. The cumulative goals from like that first initial entrance into the city is getting better equipment, level up, get to the other outposts, get to the end, to the first outpost, explore different areas, and obviously make sure you have money, as a sense. And pretty much from day one, that is the grind for end game, or sorry, the level cap of 415. That is the end game, and the grind to 415 is probably the most satisfying part of Dead Frontier, because it gives you a direction, it gives you a goal, and you know what you're working to. Despite that, as soon as you hit level 415, you meet that goal. It is a very extensive goal, and it takes such a long time just to get there. Some people who don't touch grass, in a sense, can get it within a month. Other people it would take 5-10 years, and it just obviously opens up to different how people play the game, how frequent, the equipment, if they have a credit card, if they are a child who needs to rely on other ways to pay for it, like for example mom's credit card, selling CS skins, scamming, which is unfortunately one of the things that does happen within the community. But it's also that kind of element of, that is how you get to this place in a sense. But as soon as you hit level 415, you're kinda just done. You are no longer in the end game, you are the end game in that sense. Yes, there's additional stuff you can do, but there's nothing more in terms of incentive to continue that kind of grind, that motivation of being one of the, if not best kind of top survivors in the game to get to this kind of point. You're kind of just left with a emptiness of what is actually next. I mean, you don't unlock the end game. You realise you're already doing it in the past with that grind from 1 to 415. One of the things I kind of want to elaborate on is there's no systems, there's no different playstyles, and you are sat thinking genuinely what is next, like I said, and there is very little to do at this stage. As soon as you hit level 415, one of the things you might think is a goal is maybe getting all your masteries up, which is something I'm currently going through right now, but I'm at this like a stage where it's like a sieve in a sense, like only so much is going through, because the masteries you can only do up to a certain point before they become useless in a sense. There's a cap on them specifically as well, but they aren't an engaging progression at all. They're just something that's sitting in the back for you to do. And as a new player, obviously you will be building that up regardless within the game when you first get into the city. For people like me, that system was introduced halfway through the development process, and unfortunately we didn't. I'm halfway through what I need to now. With being at this stage, I've realised I don't. It doesn't change how I play. I change how I play because, in a sense, because I am making these kind of videos. But with the actual game itself, if I didn't make these videos, I'd just be sitting with Magstorm, Valkyrie, and some other like Santa Claus or something like that, and just looting and getting money, which again is on the other end of the goals you can have in that sense, and it's not particularly good to have as a endgame player. Masteries feel like it's less of a goal and actually more of a tax on my time instead. So just a quick discussion about the masteries at least. Like obviously everyone knows, like obviously when you do them you get some sort of buff from, be it damage, service class stuff, loot, and that's basically it. The masteries aren't particularly that amazing. Like yes, the 20 damage in each cast broad sense is kind of nice, but they could do more, and the community obviously doesn't like the ideas. Like for example, masteries can help them with penalty debuffs for lack of proficiencies. For me that makes total sense because you're mastering a weapon. If I was pretend to be a gangster, hold a handgun to the side instead of being like, oh wait, shit, okay, see if I put my other hand here, I'm getting better with my aim and such, maybe understand the weapon. With the penalties we have, that would make sense that you would master how to use one of those weapons. But with the grind of it, obviously most of them are killing ones, and with how much you need to do just to reach that point, it is so difficult to put that kind of time in it and be motivated to do it. Because of the way the gameplay is, it is quite stale, is the best way to put it. There's no enjoyment of, let's go, for example, what have I got right now? Let's use the Cryostorm on a QRF. That's going to help with 1.1%, when the Cryostorm also does Permafrost and obviously makes it a bit more time consuming. It's as if you're not mastering anything in that sense. You're just kind of enduring that grind to get to that point where it's just like, here's some more damage. It's like blowing glitter on somebody's face. The other aspect of all this is something I've obviously touched upon, is the money. Because obviously with the development of Dead Frontier, it has been ongoing for numerous amount of years, there is always going to be some level of power creep. Every year we get a new weapon, every event we get a new weapon, every update we get a batch of new weapons, and we need to kind of keep building up our money just to make sure we can afford it, each of them, over and over and over. And the previous stuff, for example, Unlimited Rave Can is the perfect example. It is no longer the best weapon in the game. That goes to something else now. Like there's other weapons that came out as an early that's actually much better in many other capacities. With the bar being raised on the power creep, it's also an unending kind of process. For myself, for example, I go loot, I get money, I scrap, I sell, I loot, I scrap, I sell, I loot, I scrap, I sell. So it's kind of getting up to that point where I'm trying not to fall behind on the power creep, make sure I am up to date with everything I have. And obviously, bar doing these videos, that is something that every player does. Not everyone does videos like this. There's only a handful right now that seems to be very active, and obviously myself, Zega, and Stanley. Because one of the realizations is that money actually becomes like your real endgame for Dead Frontier. The market, with how it goes, it's a player ran market, as obviously people are aware. It always funnels back to, can I afford this equipment? Yes, no. Depending on your answer, it depends what you do. Then you've also got the whole credit system, like obviously it's a premium currency system. Yes, you can get them for free, but you also can take out a credit card, bank card, and just go like, you know what, just put it on that, I'll get a bunch here. And then you need to kind of figure out how to manage your own money. Like for example, when I do these videos for myself, so far bar a handful of videos relating to Type 2, I've had to fund myself just to kind of make the content as well, just to make it work. And that's not efficient for myself, obviously, because that's a completely different process. I wouldn't need to go through that anyway if I wasn't making these videos, like I said. But The issue is, with doing the masteries, with the money catch-up thing, you're basically not grinding for freedom in this game. You're not there to enjoy it in that sense, you're just there to make sure you are grinding to stay in a spot where you can be, okay, I'll be first one to buy it, I can try it out and give my feedback. I can be the first one to get this weapon here. Oh wait, shit, I missed that weapon, I can go buy that now, kind of thing. Like, it's just like a whole power creep of the money, the mastery system there, it just feels so difficult. And to kind of put us in like a sense of understanding, one of the main the biggest part of why endgame feels so empty is because there's not enough content for players like myself to enjoy. I can go in the city, like I said, do my looting, that's it. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy looting, but because of certain aspects of the game, you just kind of get bored of it, and you eventually move on to another game. For example, right now I'm playing The Last Remnant on Steam, and that's obviously a completely different game, but I would rather spend my time playing Dead Frontier making content because that's the way I do things. The masteries, once I finish it, that's another goal done. I do not need to touch it again. But then my question is, what's my next main focus? Because the only other one left is the money. There's no sense of completion. You don't feel done because you're still in that endless grind just to get to that point of like money. Like, think of yourself as Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. Yeah, you're like that. That's what it basically is. It's like when you first get into a city, you're on that climb to 415. It feels like a journey, an adventure. You will hit difficult spots, then you'll progress over, and then you will get a lot better at the game. But as soon as you hit that 415, that's it. It's just like a smooth line. It doesn't go anywhere. Obviously, I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't have some suggestions, of course. I know, bear in mind that there's stuff in the roadmap development scheme that could be of interest even at 415, like the area breaks. It'd be interesting to see if maybe something can be done to make it more sort for endgame in a sense as well, or even a completely different area would be interesting, using the current assets like the second on bunker one, key card to get into somewhere, to travel to like a quote unquote DLC area, like for example the underground facility that was mentioned and such. But with obviously what I've said today, like obviously the other way we can keep the content more engaging for people at the end 415 is mainly just kind of have different little things. Have some sort of acknowledgement. Here's a different kind of thing you can do. Make the grind, let the grind continue and reward that in that sense. So for example, one of the things I thought of as well is, see when you get 415, you get given access to a boss arena. For example, once per day you get to go into an arena with, I don't know, preset equipment or your own, and you have to fight bosses on like an endless horde. It could be rounds, it could be whatever, depending obviously what kind of procession you want to go for, and you get given something spectacular in a sense. But that would be more engaging than going to the city, do loot, come back, do bosses, come back. It'd be like more of a strength of survival, because you can't heal in between those boss rounds. It'd be 10. You could have 2 volatile Reapers coming after you, and when obviously that whole development rework happens, that's going to be a lot more scary to deal with. Just something, it would just reward at endgame for that, give it something a bit more fresh and unique. Another thing would be, as if you see on the screen now, is a mock-up image of an idea that somebody did post, but I had an idea of it already in another aspect, which was with challenges. But making it so you hit level 415 and you actually get access to a token shop or something like that. So for example, every mil you hit, you get a token in that sense. So you can hit 1,000,000 XP pretty damn quickly at the end game regardless. But you are getting these tokens that you can spend on these things. So it would be gold membership, it could be EX boosts, it could be different money in the game. Like obviously the list can continue from there after balancing reviews and such, but just quality of life in that sense, because the XP we currently have is just going to build up and build up. Let's make something use of it at this kind of stage of the end game, and be able to buy stuff that's going to be more applicable and usable for ourselves instead of wasting that in a sense, because we've already hit this stage of where at this level we are going to continue being invested in the game because we spent years, months, God knows how long with the game. So as a player, please reward us for something at least, just to make it a bit better in that sense. Another thing I had an idea of is like a prestige system. So as soon as you hit level 415, you can basically reset yourself to either 325 or level 1 kind of thing, and every level you would normally get a implant, you would actually get like a boost kind of thing. With the current stuff we have in game right now, like it would be, people will always invest in attack speed, but imagine being able to go from 415 back to 1, and you get about 20 different boosts improved. Say it's like kind of like a clan system where you only get 5, you only get a cap of what you can put in what, and if you want more boosts you need to prestige again in that sense and work your way up. That would keep the ongoing repeat cycle of that grind, but obviously it would maintain that you are more engaged in the game. You can still use your weapons, because why not, because that would be more beneficial in that sense, because you've went through it already and you don't want to be feeling a complete reset. You just reset your level and have an asterisk there and just go through it again. Another one that's even stupid, I guess, is like one of the ones I did say and people don't like it because they probably don't understand. Having this on the screen right now, a wee sachet that says I got to level 415 and all I got was this sash. Like, even a small cosmetic that's going to be stupid, and it's going to be more of those more gimmicky kind of cosmetic things. Like, obviously people won't wear it, they'll put it in their collection book, but that's just like an idea of what could be implemented as a acknowledgement of the commitment people are putting into the game in that sense. Now bear in mind, people won't like my ideas, like I can understand that, like everyone has a different opinion of what they think should be done, and others have obviously a different opinion for myself, and I completely respect that, and obviously I want everybody to respect that I have a different opinion as well, because that seems to be one of the ongoing issues in this channel. But I think the end game really is empty. As soon as you get to that 415, that's you kind of done. The other avenue of it is if you are at 415 long enough, you end up becoming a YouTuber for Death Frontier and you just start making videos. That's the honest truth of it. I mean, I wouldn't have done these again if I was bored of dealing with the end game, but there's just stuff within this game that needs to be touched up on, even if there is going to be a engine upgrade. I do understand obviously there is a lot of development stuff within this, but I do feel like as an endgame player that we need more than what the game currently offers, and that's been the issue for the last couple of level caps as well. It's just that we need to get this sorted so it stops being that way. But with that being said, what do you guys think of this this video? I understand obviously not everyone will feel the same effect as I do, but bear in mind I've been at level 4 and 5 for what it feels like for the last 3-4 years, something like that, and in that time it's just been a grind since, just to get the mastery sorted. But let me know what you guys think. Are you feeling the same way? Are you thinking there's other ways we can improve? Just give me that kind of feedback. I'm curious to see what people will say. It's just one of those ones it's going to be quite interesting to deal with, to be honest. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I do apologise, it's more of a me talking, use listening kind of thing, but I just thought it'd be important to kind of bring this up because of how kind of a topic it is, and not a lot of people will, like I said, agree with it, but there is a problem with this, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one feeling it, as I know numerous people from the past who just have said it's not engaging enough in layman terms of that, saying that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.